Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 3SSRTV. We're your host, Peter Terros.
And I'm Chad Phillips, and we got a big show debuted for you on C31.
But before we go to that, I need to just put this out there. I think you've made a bit of a mistake, because last week I tried looking a bit more professional like you, trying to smarten up a bit, put on the suit. This week, what have you done? You've come looking like me, like the way I dress, and now we both look like we're in a rodeo together.
Well, I got the memo to wear this week.
What memo?
I don't know.
I put on clothes in my wardrobe.
I called a dream. A dream.
Let's continue with the show. You need to get changed, mate.
We do look like we're working in a rodeo, I think, sort of.
But you need to get changed.
Well, I got to get changed.
I'm sorry. If we were women, this would be unacceptable. And if we were at the same event, this would just be wrong. And I think the person that comes here first, because I was here earlier today, should be the one that gets to keep the clothes, and you have to get changed.
Well, if I got nothing else, I got no shirt on. I'm done.
That's fine.
Oh, we
look different.
We got to get the ratings anyway. Well, right now we're going to go with this week in music with Tom Spottiswoode and Jono.
Well, welcome to another week of 3SSR Music. Michael's away. He's having a holiday in India at the moment, but we're joined here by Jono. How you going, mate?
Fantastic, Tom, and it's good to be here.
That's good. And what news have you got for us, mate?
I've got a bit of touring news, Australian touring news, and I'm going to be looking at the Victorian legs of a few of these tours for our viewers.
Fantastic.
Much loved UK trio, London Grammar, were meant to come to Australia this year for Splendour in the Grass. But unfortunately, they had to pull out. I believe it was to do with an illness to lead vocalist Hannah Reid. But thankfully, for Grammar fans, they're coming back down under in 2015. Their Melbourne show and their Sydney show already sold out, Tommy.
Wow.
But a Brisbane show has just been announced. So for London Grammar fans, if they want to see them here down under, they've got to get onto that ASAP.
Definitely get around that, yep.
Sydney five-piece, The Preachers, just dropped their new album, and along with it have announced an Australian-wide tour. This includes a gig in Geelong at the Barwon Club on the 20th of November and one at the Forum in Melbourne on the 22nd. And I've got to say, Tommy, Forum, one of my favourite venues to watch live music, such an intimate place.
Absolutely, yep.
Violent Soho, The Boys, they're back in town. They've been doing so much this year, winning so many awards. They toured Australia earlier this year, sold out a heap of shows. Their gigs at Groove in the Move, Falls, Splendour in the Grass, Big Day Out, just to name a few, were absolutely massive. And since these guys are on such a roll, they've decided, let's just have another tour at the end of the year. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this tour includes a massive 23 shows, including a show at 170 Russell in Melbourne on the 28th of November and the Barwon Club in Geelong on the 29th. Now, Soho's mates, who they toured with earlier this year, Melbourne punk rockers The Smith Street Band, are dropping a new album called Throw Me in the River. Now, they leaked a track from this called Surrender a couple of weeks ago. Had a listen to that, and I've got to say that I liked what I heard.
Very, very good.
They're doing a tour to cap their new album, and that's going to be Australia-wide. And then after that, the boys are heading to Europe to do a tour over there. Tickets for their show at the Corner Hotel have already sold out. And that's 2 shows now they've released and sold out. Rumours are they might be looking at putting out a 3rd one, but definitely if you want to go to that one, you've got to be on the ball there. Now, Tommy, you called me when you were in the shower last night and said you were listening to Pink Floyd and you didn't mind what you were hearing.
Look, mate, I was just really relaxed, and Pink Floyd, the #1 band to listen to when in a relaxed state like that. Obviously, that's not true, but anyway, Pink Floyd have announced the release of their 4th studio album, and it's called The Endless River. The band so far has released a track listing, a bit of album art, and a sneak peek of the music that we will be hearing. The band said that the album will be mainly instrumental and will be released sometime this month. Also, frontman of The Living End, Chris Cheney, has announced that the band is working on a brand new album. The album will be the first release of new music since their 2011 album, The Ending is the Beginning Repeating. And you can catch the band while they're back here in Australia in Canberra on the 30th of October. They're also heading to Wollongong on the 31st of October and the Metro in Sydney on the 6th of November. And also, I think I talked about this a few weeks ago, but I'm super excited about this. Dallas Green and Pink have teamed up.
Yep.
And, you know, such an interesting combo.
The dynamic duo, they're calling them.
Oh, it works so well. I love it so much. You can check out their first track, You and Me, on YouTube, and the album entitled Rose Avenue will be available sometime this month as well. But that's it from us here at Music News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. That's all your music updates for this week with Jono and Tom. And Chad, might I say that's better.
Yeah. We had
works
to
now.
negotiate with somebody outside the studio to let us take his jacket, and I think it worked out pretty well.
How did you negotiate with someone to take his jacket?
Verbal abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something that Victorian police will probably not be very happy with. But anyway,
We got a jacket.
Yeah, we got a jacket. We're going to go to Travel 4 this week. We're going to go with Crystal and Jess as they give you hidden wonders of Australia.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Hidden Wonders of Australia. I'm Jess.
And I'm Crystal.
And today we'll be talking about a destination that was recently placed on the top 10 most livable cities in the world, and that's Sydney. So of course we all know Sydney for the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, and of course Bondi, but today we are here to fill you in on all the beautiful hidden areas of this incredible state.
First off, Glebe is a unique little suburb situated just 3 kilometres out of Sydney centre. Glebe feels young, relaxed and alternative. It's full of second-hand bookstores, clothing, furniture stores, galleries, small bars, pubs, cafes.
A long list.
It's a really long list. Selling chai, fresh juices and locals art scattered right through the streets. These are what lure many of the visitors into the area, but tourists, it's really unheard of. We don't know about it that much, so that's why we're filling you in today. Held each Saturday between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m, the market sells not just food, produce, but fashion, jewellery, books, handcrafts, and buskers and musicians entertain you all along the street. And there's very friendly stall holders, so make sure you get down. Definitely go with an empty stomach because the food's irresistible.
Definitely, it sounds great. Meanwhile, Washaway Beach is located just down the south, and you can navigate your way through bush paths and down a cliff face in order to find an absolutely stunning destination.
It's amazing.
It's so beautiful, and it has no existing high tide, and so it's just a must-see location. So much privacy surrounding you, you're hidden in plain sight, which can mean only one thing, and that it's a little bit of a nudist beach. So head on down, strip off and enjoy
Jess loves it.
enjoy the scenery, because there's something you definitely won't regret visiting.
Definitely. And another beautiful beach you'll definitely have to set your eyes on is Shalley Beach. Located in Manly, this is one of the most visually beautiful beach inlets, which is a protected marine reserve. This is a perfect place for snorkeling and scuba diving, as the visibility is really great and it isn't too deep. For first-time divers, it's a great start.
But last but not least, Coogee Bay Hotel is located opposite Coogee Bay. It's in Sydney's eastern suburbs, and it's so much more than just a hotel. It's a multi-award winning hotel with great accommodation, and it's a really good entertainment value. Superbly located across from the beach, so the view's amazing, and it has everything under one roof. So it's boasting 7 bars. It's Sydney's biggest beer garden, which is always fantastic.
It's fabulous.
It has budget to boutique accommodation and event facilities overlooking Coogee Bay Beach. So why would you go anywhere else, really? This hotel continues to provide a meeting place for locals and tourists to interact and be entertained in one of Sydney's most ideal locations.
Yeah, it's great. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. So tune in next week for another episode, and don't forget to check out our website. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Jess and Crystal. I'll be travelling to Sydney soon, so I know where to go now.
Well, still stay tuned because we've got everything in gaming, sports and street walk right here on 3SSRTV. Hey guys, and welcome back to 3SSRTV right here on C31. We've got a big show for you still lined up. We've got right now footy with John Donahoe and Peter Siros.
G'day guys, welcome to another edition of 3SSR Footy Hit. I'm John Nono, here as always with Peter Saris. Now, I wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure really what Pete had in store.
No, mate, you were here last week. I'll show you.
Yeah, that's some of your finest work there, Pete. Thanks for that. Really
Anytime,
good,
mate.
really good to see that I was included in last week's show. Now we've been going through the season reviews of the last few weeks. We've been going from the bottom to the top, and today we got three more: Gold Coast, Collingwood, and the Adelaide Footy Clubs. So we're at the last three teams of the eight, outside the eight, and we're going to head into the eight next week. So we're going to start off with Gold Coast, mate. They had a good year, a better year from last year, and a lot of people expected them to make finals this year, but just missed out. And when Gary Ablett went down in round 16, it all kind of fell apart for them.
Yeah, much improved season, but you're right. They didn't do too much after Gary Ablett did go down, which is kind of disappointing because they have such a good list, especially through the midfield with the Swallow, Bennell, Prestia, O'Meara, Jack Martin as a new one. They should be pushing for finals, but they didn't this year. They did push, but they didn't push after Ablett's lot left. But hopefully next year they improve.
Now, a couple of people who moved on from the footy club. Nathan Bock announced his retirement. You know, he's been dogged by injuries, broken leg there for a while. Obviously played a few games at the Adelaide Crows as well. I think he played 250 plus games. So he was a star for them.
He was. I think he won a best and fairest and an All-Australian as well. So you can't really put down anyone that's done anything like that. So he's been a very good player, and you're right, he's been dogged with injury. But if he wasn't, he would have been a very good player for the Gold Coast.
Carmichael Hunt, I think, only got 50 games out of him. A little bit of a publicity stunt, but in all honesty, he wasn't too bad. Obviously kicked the winning goal against you guys
He did.
a few years ago, but you weren't really thrilled with how he progressed in AFL.
No, he probably didn't do too well. He was a bit better than GWS's Israel Folau, but at the same time, he wasn't a success story, especially with the amount of money that went toward him. I think he was the second best paid player at one point, and to be the second best paid player at one point and not even get a game, pretty much. It's interesting. It didn't work out for them.
And what do you think they need to look for in the off season to get them that one step closer next year?
I think their midfield's incredible. I think they've got the best midfield going around youth-wise. I think tall forward. They need a gun full forward that's going to go out there and kick 4-5 a game. And that's what they don't have. GWS are flowing with forwards, and Gold Coast don't have anyone that they've got a few players, but no one that I can see consistently kicking 4 or 5 a game.
I don't think they're too far off. I don't think they need all that much. Maybe another key defender. When you say key forwards, they've got Charlie Dixon, they've got Tom Lynch, two blokes who are going to be stars of the game. So I think they're all right in the forward category. They got small forwards like Bennell and Matera as well, who are well capable of kicking goals. So I think they're right. But as you said, their midfield is phenomenal. I think maybe one more key back, one more experienced key backman to help out the likes of Day and a couple others down back would be very helpful. And it's a common theme with these three teams that we're talking about. So we're going to move on to Collingwood. Collingwood, they had a decent year, but by their standards, it was very poor.
I thought personally Collingwood was going to be pushing for top 4. They were pushing for top place at a point in the season, and considering they ended up 10th or 11th on the ladder, that's a really poor season for them. I mean, they've got the talent to be firmly entrenched in the top 8 next year.
Yeah, another team that was really dogged by injury and a few retirements mid-year and stuff like that as well. But the down point really came when they played the Gold Coast, that we just mentioned, in round 16 when Gary Ablett did go down. And from there, they really just skyrocketed downwards and missed out on the finals by I think 2 games in the end. But as we mentioned, a lot of injuries. You know, Dane Beams had a slowish start to the year but built up very nicely. Dane Swan went out late. Pendlebury was hurt for a lot of the year as well. Maxwell was gone mid-year.
Still managed to make All-Australian Pendlebury though.
Yeah,
so he obviously
that's
didn't
true.
have too bad of a second half of the year that he didn't. I mean, there were a lot of injuries, you're right, but at the same time, still, I think that the players that they had on the field should have been getting some wins on the board.
So there was plenty of issues there for Collingwood, but a few bright spots as well. Like Gold Coast, I think they need another key defender down there to help out now the development of Langdon and Keefe and Frost and a couple others down there. So it looks like they're going to get Mitch Clark from Melbourne. They lose Lumumba, so it might be a fair trade. It's just a matter of whether Mitch Clark can keep his headspace right.
but they definitely need a ruckman.
Yeah, you're right, and there's not too many key ruckmen out there. But as you said, if they get Mitch Clark, that means I personally would then put Mitch Clark out of the goal square, Travis Cloke at centre half forward, and then throw Jesse White in the ruck for most of the game, rotating then maybe with Mitch Clark every now and then, because that way you can keep Jesse White in the side, who's a good player, and then you've got two key forward options who can ruck as well at down forward line.
Jesse White had a fantastic season. I thought he was a brilliant pickup for Collingwood. His accuracy was the only thing that let him down this year. There were so many times where he kicked 2 goals nil or 1 goal 3, something like that. He needs to kick goals. That's what he's getting paid to do, so he should be kicking goals more fluently and more consistently. Trav Cloke did not have a great first half of the season. Had a very good second half of the season, but not as good of a first half of the season. They need their forwards to be firing, and I still think, as I said, a ruckman's in desperate need.
Well, there is one ruckman out there that I just remembered, and that's Jonathan Giles, who said he's open to going anywhere. Looks more like he's going to go back to South Australia, but if Collingwood need a ruckman, he's a man who could fill that void, because he's 25 years old, and he's proven time and time again that he can handle the rigours of AFL. So he's one they can look at. But if they get Mitch Clark, obviously that might sort out a few of their problems. Now we'll move on to Adelaide, mate. Very disappointing year by Adelaide standards. I think they've got one of the better lists in the competition. You and I mentioned on radio a few weeks back that they've got one of the best forward lines in the game.
That's
with
right,
Betts, Podsy Adley, and Josh Jenkins down there as well. So, look, really disappointing year by Adelaide standards.
They should have made finals. That's it.
2 years in a row, they should have made finals.
They were dogged to miss the finals this year. It turned out Richmond beating them late in the year, that's what made them miss the finals. If they won that game, they would have made finals this year. And it's incredibly disappointing to see Adelaide not play the finals. As a Richmond supporter as well, I think Adelaide should have played finals.
Absolutely.
So it is disappointing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brenton Sanderson, their coach, has been sacked. Probably a warranted call in the end, just because of, as we mentioned, 2 years in a row, they finished 11th, they finished 10th, when they were a kick away from a grand final 3 years ago, in his first year, I think.
But at the same time, this year, they got Taylor Walker back. They had Podsy Adley up there replacing Tippett.
They brought Eddie Betts in.
He had a fantastic year.
Couple of key defenders I think they need. James Gwilt's name has been tossed around. They are looking at him, and I'm pretty sure they'll take him in the free agency period as a delisted free agent.
Daniel Merritt is another player that got delisted from Brisbane.
Surprisingly, really surprisingly.
That's right, and we know that he's a player, especially this season, he got pushed up forward, which was interesting, and he actually didn't do too bad. But yeah, he is more of a defender. His best footy isn't in the back line. But again, an experienced player, and Adelaide can use that to replace Ben Rutten.
Absolutely. So there's the 3 teams for this week. That's all we've got time for this week. But before we go, quickly, it's Pete's birthday today. So happy birthday, mate. And we've got a little something going on here for you. So listen up to this. Just wait. There's a bit of a delay here. I thought this was going to be seamless, but
didn't work out.
Didn't work out how I would have liked. Happy birthday to you.
I wasn't expecting
Happy
this.
birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pete. Happy birthday to you.
That's fine.
Happy birthday, mate.
G'day guys, and a big happy birthday to Pete. Congratulations, mate, making it to 21. We didn't expect you to get this far, but hey, what can we say? Always expect the unexpected. Well, I've got a little bit of news today that's coming out of the A-League as we are approaching the start of the season. It is getting more and more exciting the closer we get, and now it is even getting bigger as the FFA are now starting to contemplate expanding the league into something that we haven't seen before. Currently, there are 10 teams in the league. The A-League now want to expand to get up to 20 teams, matching it in to the English Premier League. Now, but however, this is putting a lot of pressure on the FFA to expand the A-League, and they want to look at bringing back some old faces, the North Queensland Fury. Good to see the old Gold Coast come back, who got delisted after Clive Palmer decided that he didn't want to play along with the FFA's rules. However, as we know, that he's no longer allowed to be involved in anything soccer anymore, so always a good thing. It'd be good to see those faces back. But with this FFA Cup, we've started to see a few new teams come out that are big in our local leagues, more particularly in Victoria, with your South Melbournes, your Oakleys, Heidelberg United, even Richmond. These sides St Albans and South Springvale that are doing really well in the FFA Cup and also in the other cups and throughout the season in the NPL. Absolutely fantastic years, and it's just putting more pressure on the FFA to expand the league. So for me, the bigger the better. The more teams in the competition, the better it's going to be, the better the quality of football that we're going to see. And it just gives more opportunity for younger, developing Socceroos of the future to go through and just get a start in professional football before they head overseas. And it also gives more opportunity for other players around the world, including our homegrown Socceroos, to come back and finish off their seasons or just play a couple of rounds in the A-League. So it's getting all the more exciting as we approach the start of the league. I know I'm excited. And that's all from me today, guys. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Alex, with what's happening with sports. Still stick around. We've got plenty more to come.
That's right. We do have plenty more to come with games and street talk.
And you're back on 3SSR TV right here on C31.
Now, before we cross over to the Swing Gamers, I know what game they're talking about today. I'm not going to tell you what game it is, but it is really frustrating because at the moment they're talking about this game and it's the pre-sequel, which means it's not the second one, it's the one between the second one and the first one.
I'm already confused.
Technically, it's the second one but it's the third one at the same time. It's just confusing. So we're just going to cross over to the Swing Gamers. They're going to explain it a little bit more than me. Here they are.
Hi there, we're Swing Gamers. My name's Sean.
And I'm Ricky.
And we're here to talk to you about the pre-sequel, which is the sequel of the first game, but the prequel of the second game of Borderlands. And mate, you're on the moon. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, it's a little bit in between. But once again, Borderlands, very famous for their tongue-in-cheek, have done it again here. They've sort of played on the trend in the cinema these days of prequels and sequels everywhere. But this game has actually been developed by 2K Australia. So it has a very Australian flair to it. A lot of the NPCs in the game are based off various Australian stereotypes. There's some famous Australian voice actors in this as well. And there is also a cricket side mission somewhere in the game as well. So it definitely has that Australian flair to it. And yeah, it's one that it's a game very popular amongst gamers, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what this one brings.
So this one, the pre-sequel, it's focusing more on Handsome Jack and leading into Borderlands 2. So a lot of people wanted Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2. They loved him. They loved that he was cocky, that he had the black comedy, and that he had that flair. And people were really drawn to the character. And so they've really tried to explore his character in the pre-sequel. They say that the story's going to focus more on Jack's intentions. He's first exiled from Elphus, which is a moon, and he takes over Hyperion that way. And you kind of see him, he has good intentions at the start of the game, and the characters you play are like his henchmen. But later on, you kind of get the feeling that, hang on a second, maybe we're batting for the wrong team, in a sense. Yeah, that was a cricket joke, Australian joke. I'm funny. but the humor's going to be much better in the game. It's going to be really good. In 2K Australia, as you said, it's really good to see some Australian developers with a game of this magnitude. It's looking really good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I really hope the humor's much better than that was, Sean. That was pretty pathetic. But yeah, you do see this evolution of the character of Handsome Jack, and everyone sort of got exposed to him in Borderlands 2 as the main villain, and you actually get to play as characters that have appeared as enemies in the previous two games, which is a really cool sort of game style, I guess. So you're sort of familiar with these characters. They weren't main characters. They were maybe bosses or just NPCs you encountered through the game, but now you actually get to sort of step into their shoes and play. And I think you also get to play as a Claptrap, or a version of Claptrap in the game as well, which is pretty cool because I love Claptrap. Yeah. I love him.
It's going to be interesting if your characters make a lot more comments. Like from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, your character was mainly silent in the first game, talk occasionally, like when he gets a kill or like a headshot or something like that. And the second game, they kind of evolved a little bit more. But with a character as vocal as Claptrap and having that as a playable character, you'd like to think that there'd be a little bit more commentary coming from the character when you play him. And with the whole, you get to play the enemies of Borderlands 2 in the game before, and it reminds me a lot of the Metal Gear Solid series. But yeah, pre-sequel I reckon is the step in the right direction.
And yeah, as you said, the environments are drastically different, play a very pivotal role in the game. And you get a few new weapons as well. You get lasers, which is awesome. I can't wait to do that. And some weapons that rely on the sort of the freezing element of this new environment. And I've seen some really cool shots of, you're freezing your enemies and then go up into a melee and just shatter them into pieces, which is really awesome. And I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it's looking to be a very, very good game. I really love Borderlands 2, and I'm really looking forward to this.
But anyway, Borderlands pre-sequel, it's looking really good. I'm looking forward to it. I want it. I want it so bad.
He wants it so bad he can't actually speak.
No, words are escaping me at the moment.
Yes, indeed. So the game is being released on the older generation of consoles. So your Xbox 360, your PS3.
The pre-consoles.
The pre-consoles for the pre-sequel, and you'll also get it on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS.
Yes, it's going to be released on all the platforms who have Borderlands and Borderlands 2. So they don't really want to force people like Assassin's Creed to kind of push them into the next-gen consoles. They kind of want to keep them. Yep. You've got the games, you've got the consoles, you may as well play this game as well. And I think that's a good development choice as well.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously, when Borderlands 3 comes around, I reckon that'll be just pure current gen.
Yeah.
As we're trying to call it now. The vernacular is current gen. Everyone keeps saying next gen. We've had it for a year now. It's now current gen.
Yes.
So we're stopping. It's now current gen.
It's current gen.
Yep. And the game is released on the 16th of October. So look out for it in the next coming weeks.
Yep. So that's it for us here at the studio of Swing Gamers, and back to you boys.
Thanks, guys, for all those gaming updates. Now, before we head over to Street Walk with Georgia and Alex, I helped them film that.
Okay.
So I was there.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have. We went to the Rocket Park, which is off Swinburne campus. This
In
giant
Hawthorne,
rocket
yeah.
thing. Probably shouldn't have tried kicking off all those 3-year-olds off the rocket. But anyway, it was a great day. We filmed a bunch of people. It was some of the answers were kind of funny. We ended up with Clippos, which is the icy poles as well, which was great. I don't know where they came from, but we got icy poles.
You just picked it whatever you found on the ground and just ate it, or
No.
no, not at all.
No. We got them legitimately. So it was a great day. Take a look at it.
Yeah, I can't wait. So let's go into Georgia and Steffi with Street Walk.
Hey guys, welcome back to Street Walk. I'm Steffi,
And I'm Georgia.
and today we're asking,
What did you do in school that got you in the most trouble?
let's get to it. Hey man, what did you do in school that got you in the most trouble?
Well, I've done a fair few things actually. In grade 6, I set the bin alight. It was actually accidental, but I still got in trouble for it.
How did you accidentally set a bin on fire?
Well, we were playing with some ashes.
Now tell us, what did you do in school that got you in the most trouble?
I accidentally kicked a ball on purpose through a window.
Was this primary school or high school?
This is primary school.
And what happened?
I was banned from in-school sport for a whole entire year.
Oh, that's awful.
So what did you do in school that got you in the most trouble?
I was probably, I remember one day, we had this open canteen thing where we could go to school and we could volunteer in our canteen. And one time I was in there and I got all pies and put them all together, and this is just a true story, man. I got all these pies, I smashed them all together and just made one big pie.
Wow, those poor little primary school kids. They were some harsh punishments. Now, Steffi, what did you do in school that got you in the most trouble?
I didn't get into a whole heap of trouble, even though I did a lot of really bad things. I just didn't get caught. So yeah, notes. But I almost got suspended because of my hair, because it was too long, and then I cut into a mohawk to spite them.
And did you dye it?
I did. I dyed it blue.
Nice work. Well, in primary school, we all did the votes for who was going to be house captain, and I had to leave early that day, so I walked into the room where all the votes were, no one else in the room, thought I'd take a quick sneak peek to see if my friends voted for me, and the teacher walked in, saw me peeking, and then I didn't get the role as house captain when I actually won it. So that was really harsh punishment.
That really sucks.
Yeah, it did. Anyway, that's Street Walk for today.
Thanks, guys. Make sure you check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you have any questions you wanted to ask, or if you just have your own answer to this one, pop us on 3SSRTV, and we'll get answering.
See ya.
That's all we have time for today on another episode of 3SSRTV. Tune in next week, but for now you can go on our apps. which are available on Android and iPhone. Give them a quick download. They're free. Go on our website, stream the our old episodes, this episode as well, and future episodes to come. Also, you can go and check out all our radio shows at 3SSR.org.
And don't forget, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well.
That's right, but as I said, that's it. I'm your host, Peter Terros.
And I'm Chad Phillips, and see you later.
Fare thee well.